Good afternoon. I call to order the meeting of the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and Wildfire for March 13th, 2025. Welcome. We have a few elements today. We've got an informational meeting where we're going to get acquainted with some of the members of the Board of Agriculture who are meeting yesterday and today here in Salem. We'll have a public hearing on Senate Bill 74 that centers on determination of navigability, and three, I think, quick work sessions with bills that have been brought to us by the fire marshal. So with that, I will open an informational hearing, and I'd like to invite Director Hansen of ODA and Ellen Miller, Chair of the State Board of Agriculture, and Eric Oram, Vice Chair of the State Board of Agriculture, with a big welcome from our committee. I just want to say at the outset, your staff is really helpful to a lot of the bills we see. I think Jonathan Sando lives in the back row there when he's not at home and is always available as a resource for questions, and we appreciate it a lot. So, Director, could you start off?
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, Chair Gold and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Lisa Sharplow Hansen, and I serve as the Director of the Oregon Department of Agriculture. I'm delighted to be here today with you and introduce you to the leadership on the State Board of Agriculture. With me is Chair Ellen Miller and Vice Chair Eric Oram. So nearly a century ago, the legislature created the State Board of Agriculture with a vision for collaborative governance. The board was formed to serve as advisors to the department and bring valuable insight on agricultural issues, programs, and the diverse perspectives from across the state. At its core, the board ensures alignment among public policy, community interests, and practical challenges that face our farmers, ranchers, fishers, and food processors day in and day out. The board's strength is in its members. The governor appoints the Board of Agriculture. Members are drawn from every corner of the state, and their diversity and unique perspectives bring richness to our board. There are 7 members of the board that are producers, 2 members that are public members. The chair of the Soil and Water Conservation Commission sits on the board, as well as the dean of the College of Agricultural Science and myself are ex officio members of the board. Agriculture strengthens our communities, it supports the environment, and drives the economy in our state. The board plays a vital role in communicating and amplifying that message. One example of that is the biennial report that the board members are here to present to you today. It captures the voices and the priorities of agriculture communities statewide. Today, many of our board members are here in the Capitol to meet with legislators, and we are grateful for the time and opportunity to be with you. So with that, I will hand this over to Chair Miller.
Thank you, Lisa. Chair Golden, members of the committee. My name is Ellen Miller, and it's an honor to be able to speak to you today. My husband, Bill, who's actually in the audience, and I own Umpqua Vineyards that's been in our family since the 1850s, where we have planted wine grapes about 7 years ago. And we farmed hazelnuts in Douglas County for over 22 years. My agricultural journey began in Arizona through Future Farmers of America, eventually leading me to opportunities across the West Coast and globally, from Africa to China, Australia, Japan, and India. Today, I'm deeply involved in Oregon's agricultural community, having served as founding president of the Oregon Wine Council and on the board of Fall Creek Farm and Nursery and past chair of the State FFA Foundation. The State Board of Agriculture meets quarterly, intentionally rotating locations to ensure we remain close to the vibrant, diverse communities across Oregon. This direct engagement allows us to genuinely understand and represent the complexities faced by Oregon agriculture today. Oregon agriculture is extraordinary, supporting communities, protecting the environment, and powering our economy. 95% of farms are family-owned and operated. Each farm tells its own story, honoring unique heritage and fostering a sense of community. Our farmers are stewards of 15.2 million acres, cultivating over 225 crops. Agriculture generates $30 billion in wages, contributing $6.8 billion in agricultural products, and constitutes 13% of Oregon's economic activity. Oregon agriculture directly supports over 500,000 jobs statewide and underscoring its importance to both urban and rural areas. Our strength is how diverse Oregon ag is, and it really is uniquely diverse, having worked across the U.S. in agriculture. We have 69,000 producers statewide. 44% of our producers are women, ranking Oregon 4th nationally. 32% of our producers are new and beginning farmers, representing an investment in our future. Our agricultural community includes 4,443 BIPOC producers and 6,691 veteran producers. Additionally, our commercial fisheries and nearly 131 million annually add nearly 131 million annually to Oregon's economy. And I think a lot of times when we think about the Department of Agriculture, we don't necessarily think about fisheries. And we've had a chance to visit the coast to be able to learn more about that industry. The 2025 Board of Agriculture report that we're presenting today results from extensive engagement with producers, processors, fishers, and local communities. It highlights 7 critical issues shaping our sector, guiding our advisory role and recommendations. With that, I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Eric Oram to outline key policy challenges and opportunities moving forward. Eric?
Ms. Miller, could I ask one question,
Sure.
please? Those were a lot of stats, big stats. One of them that was, if I got it right, is 32% of your producers, you said, are new. Is that a certain number of years? I'm curious because we have a succession and
Yes.
sustainability issue around farmers.
And,
so what is new
many,
mean?
but farmers particularly. Lisa?
So the Census of Agriculture considers a new farmer a farmer who's been in operation 10 years or less.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Oram, welcome.
But some might think Mr. Oram is a new farmer.
I was at one time. Thank you, Elin. Good afternoon, Chair Golden and members of the committee. My name is Eric Oram, and I'm the current Vice Chair of the State Board of Agriculture. I'm a first-generation farmer from Morrow County in Senator Nash's district. When I began farming, where I began farming by leasing a 2,400-acre dryland wheat farm around 20 years ago, and currently growing it to 7,000-acre diversified operation. This includes custom farming, dryland wheat, and cattle. We use innovative no-till practices and precision agriculture technologies. My farm conserves soil, reduces chemical use, and sustainability manages resources. The board has identified several critical policy areas crucial for the resilience and growth of Oregon agriculture. First being workforce and cost of business. Farmers face significant challenges due to labor shortages, rising input costs, and market uncertainties. This topic emerged prominently during a recent board panel discussion highlighting the urgency for sustainable workforce solutions. Second would be animal health and pest management. Rapid response to animal diseases, invasive pests, and natural disaster remains crucial. Proactive measures protect market access, environmental integrity, and community resilience. Next would be water and climate resilience. Sustainable water management and climate adaptation are pivotal. Investments in irrigation, drought resilience, and conservation practices help sustain Oregon agriculture amidst changing climate conditions. Also, transportation infrastructure. Efficient transportation, including road, rail, and barge, is essential for agricultural success. Reliable and accessible transportation helps us with market access while maintaining rural transportation infrastructure remains a priority. Lastly, value-added processing, investments in local processing facilities, meat inspection and farm-to-school initiatives enhance market opportunities, stimulate local economies, and reinforce food resilience. These issues represent both challenges and opportunities. Strategic investments and policies in these areas are vital for the continued resilience and prosperity of Oregon's agriculture community. We hope this report will be a resource for each of you. In closing, I would like to speak openly as a farmer rancher. Oregon agriculture is hurting. Net farm income was down in 2023, again in 2024, and does not look promising for 2025. Many of the challenges are outside of our control. I would like to thank you for allowing us to present today, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Oro. First of all, Senator Nash had to testify in another committee. I'm going to make him watch this video when he's done. I'm sure he's sorry he's not here right now. I appreciated your comments and kind of the list of issue areas you're especially looking at. And I just wanted to say I think of this board as having kind of a unique perspective about the breadth of agriculture in Oregon, and maybe have an early warning system for problems we may not be paying enough attention to. You know, we do get no shortage of bills proposed here, but they're generally from people with a very specific concern that we can address perhaps in one way or another. But I'm hoping that the board feels its role, among other things, is to make us more aware of trends that really need some attention that a particular interest group might not, because again, the breadth of what you're looking at and your ability to have sort of strategic conversations, I think you're are a really important resource to the work of this legislature, certainly to this committee. So I wouldn't want anything to slow you down from advising us when you see something on the horizon.
If I may, Chair Golden,
No, please.
okay. Thank you for stating that. In fact, it's fascinating. We're all in different areas and different parts of agriculture, and we learn a lot from each other. Through that process, we're actually going to be reinstituting a quarterly report that's going to go to the legislature on topics that are important. So it's not that you just get a report a little later from us, but a report over time from us to at least make the full legislature aware of issues that we feel are important. But very much appreciate that and your interest in our thoughts.
Well, it's a really important resource that we don't often make good use of, and I'd like to. Welcome, Senator Nash. We were just talking about you. I don't know if you know Mr. Oram from your district, who is currently Vice Chair of the Board of Agriculture. Senator Girard, did you have a comment?
I do. I actually been reading your little flyer that you have here. One thing that really disturbs me is 10% of the farms generate 2/3 of the economy, and the trend towards these mega farms. Is there anything we could do to kind of slow down the conversion of the smaller farms to the larger farms? And this might be a question that is going to be longer than you want to take, and maybe just get to us with a report or something. But that trend to me is kind of a scary trend.
Yeah, I'll give my take on it, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the Board of Agriculture here because I haven't necessarily asked my fellow board members what their thoughts are, but I would say I've had the opportunity in my career to work globally and throughout the United States. And very honestly, I've been surprised at my now relatively new home state of Oregon is as I'll use the word difficult when it comes to regulatory hurdles for agriculture. And I think all well-intentioned, but I think at times, and I was EPA regional administrator a few years back, so I know difficult agencies, or what is perceived as difficult agencies. But it's going to be helpful that we all can listen to each other. And very honestly, I think in agriculture, especially smaller farms like mine, we're doing the best we can to catch up with what's in place regulatorily. So we just ask real thoughtful process, and which I know you have, but listening to those of us who have concerns as new, what seemingly great ideas come forward, that again just adds, it's very additive, and especially when you don't have an HR department, you don't have a regulatory department, it all kind of is with you. So that's something that I think will help smaller farmers thrive. Large farms can afford all that, but we can't.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Any other comments? Thank you for your service. It's a lot of work for the state. Really appreciate it very much. May I ask other board members who happen to be here to stand for a moment? Okay, now I'm going to embarrass you. Could you make way at the table, please, for a moment? We didn't plan this. And maybe bring one more chair up. We'd like to meet you, if we could. Hear who you are, where you're from, just a little bit about your connection to agriculture. And it's a little surprise. So we have, again, the full number on the board of full members is how many?
Lisa is 9 members.
9 members, and we have 6 here today, correct? Great. Starting on the left, could we hear your name for the record, where you're from, and kind of your link or interest in agriculture?
Thank you, Senator Golden, and thank you for listening and hosting us today. Ellie Norris, I'm a blueberry farmer from Southern Oregon, 2nd generation. We do fresh pick blueberries, conventional and organic, and we do quite a bit domestically and export. We are actually one of the largest family-owned and operated blueberry farms left in the Northwest. And I also am chair-elect for the national, sorry, I'm nervous, for the North American High Bush Agency, Association, sorry, and on their Government Affairs Committee. So this is fantastic. Thank you.
Great, really glad to hear. Sure.
Senator Golden, the committee. My name is Ty Cleaver. I am a 4th generation hay farmer, cattle producer, and shockingly brewer from the Klamath Basin. Me and my wife have a 18-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter who are both very active in 4-H and FFA and are both interested in pursuing careers in the agricultural industry. I have been, unfortunately, very active in the water political situation in the Klamath Basin for the last 10 years now. And I really enjoy getting to be on the board, and it's a great group of people to get to be around, and I always look forward to these. And we have great staff in the department who are a lot of fun to work with.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you got my interest now. Commercial or home brewing?
Commercial.
And what's the brand or label?
Skyline Brewing Company.
Okay.
And we started out wholesaling kegs to restaurants and bars. And then after a while, it became apparent wholesaling anything is not a very good idea. So we've been exploring our pathways to make direct consumer sales happen. And in the meantime, I've also been very fascinated with barbecue and sausage making and stuff. And
Talk my language.
between the cows and the barbecue and the beer, it's like, okay, how can we weave all of this together into something that's going to be a lot of fun for the public? And So we're going to hopefully launch that venture in April.
Wonderful. So we have the Oregon Craft Brewers Caucus. And so we'll try to get word for you if you're up in the valley. Maybe you can join us some evening.
I would enjoy that.
Did you say Skyline Brewing, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I guarantee you Senator Przansky will be drinking a Skyline sometime in the next 48 hours.
I'll be looking for it.
He can't stand a beer in this state that he can't drink, haven't drank yet.
Yeah, unfortunately for the time being, you'll have to make it down to the basin, but we'd be very happy to have you.
You bet.
Sir,
Senator Goldman and the rest. My name is Chad Allen, and I'm a second-generation dairyman in Tillamook. And wife and I have 5 kids, 1 daughter and 4 boys.
are they getting involved in the business?
Well, right now they're fairly young, but you know, they got all sorts. They get different ideas. You know, the youngest one, my 8-year-old, him and I butt heads the most, so we're probably destined to work together someday. But just like my dad and I, and so appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks for coming to Salem and visiting us. Sir,
Good afternoon, Senator Golden and the board. Really appreciate your time today. My name is Miguel Lopez. I am a first-generation Mexican-American, proudly growing grapes in the Northern Willamette Valley. I am second-generation doing that. My father came over in the 80s and did a lot of migrant work before he settled back down the valley. Similar to Chad and his father, my dad couldn't look forward to the day we'd working together. And I said, I don't really want to do that. So I went to college, got a winemaking degree, and worked for some prominent wineries in the Northern Willamette Valley. 5 years ago, I decided to walk away from that side of the world and go back to farming. My father was still alive. He'd be really excited about that.
I'll bet that's
So,
true.
yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. So, and I've been on the board. This is my first term, and it's been very exciting. I can proudly say that I can go around the world now and say, in Oregon, we can almost grow everything successfully. We have beautiful regions across the state, and we've gotten to meet a lot of great people in agriculture. So thank you for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Last comments or questions from committee? Thank you both for serving the state the way you are and for feeding us. Really appreciate it very much. Come back and see us.
Thank you.
Thank you.